What is up, YouTube? This is Trilla with Blerdsbgaming, and before we get started, I just want to talk to you really quick. So we were a non-commentary channel before. We put down our channel for a little while, and we're now starting to pick it back up. And we wanted to try something a little different, so we decided to go for commentary and see how that works. Now, that doesn't mean that we've completely abandoned the non-commentary format. Some games will be strictly commentary, some will be strictly non-commentary, and then some, like this game, we're going to do both. We're going to have both a commentary and a non-commentary and see how that works. If you have any suggestions or comments or anything, you can just put them down below. We'll be happy to hear from you. Right now we're doing Chicken Police. It looks really, really interesting. It looks a little hilarious and also a little dark, which is also good too. I did start a new game just to test the microphone, but we're just going to ignore that and we're going to put a new game over it. I didn't get too far into it, so I'm excited. Let's see how it works. Dead men are heavier than broken hearts.
I ran out to get a pack of cigarettes, but I left my wallet at home. Yeah, that's me. I'm getting old. My name is Sonny Featherland, an investigator for 20 years, and once the star of the predatory division of the Clawville Police Department, one half of the legendary Chicken Police. But buying a pack of smokes is more than I can handle right now. Maybe I should just lay low. Yeah, I'll do that. The most colorful place in the wilderness. For all the gods, what bullshit. The last clucking color left this city years ago, and slowly I'll turn gray too. Still, what do I expect? We're living in a vast experiment, and don't even notice that everything got clucked up a long time ago. We believe in this wonderland of peaceful coexistence. Wolves and sheep, chickens and hounds. Yeah, sure, why not? It's just ridiculous. The dog eats the chicken. It's in our nature. I'm not propping up the illusion anymore. 121 days, and it's over. Retirement. What could possibly go wrong? Ah, crap. My office lock is a piece of shit if a dame can pick it. She stood in the darkness. The light painted stripes on her body. It whispered secret little things that were never there in the first place. But she was no zebra. Reality was just a light switch away. Elizabeth or Charlotte? I was sure she'd have a sophisticated-sounding name. She had a bygone look in her eyes, older than this ancient building, and perhaps the whole city itself. Or maybe I'm just drunk. But she was the first womanly thing in my place for a long time, so I had to give her a chance.
Okay. So I guess we could talk to her, but there are some things around here. See what's in his office.
I wanted to travel the world when I was a kid, but I think I'm gonna end up dead in here, whether I like it or not. I promised myself I'd write a novel one day. I don't even know what these papers are. Every whiskey has the same color nowadays, at least in this price range. Books I'm never gonna read. Maybe nobody ever has. I don't see colors anymore, only emptiness. Everything faded. I need another drink. My wallet and my badge. The wallet is real. The badge ain't. Chief Bloodboil took mine. So I got this one out of a pack of cornflakes. Just in case.
Okay, so we have found out some things about him. Like, for instance, I think he might be disgraced. I can't think of any other reason if he's not retired why they would take his badge. And I mean, he's gonna write a novel maybe someday. And he's a pessimist. That's what I'm getting so far.
She doesn't seem so dangerous that I need to grab my gun, but you never know.
Maybe not a pessimist. Maybe he's just jaded.
My last cigarette. You're lucky I don't have a light, pal.
Okay, so we have some new items. Looks like they're up here. Is there anything else?
Behind that door lies the kingdom of dirty clothes, cigarette butts, and empty bottles.
Painful memory. Is that like a parrot? Is that a love interest?
This is one of the most beautiful memories from my old life, before Molly left me and took our daughter.
Okay, so he is old enough to have an older daughter, but I'm thinking that's probably Molly.
The good things in life don't last long. The best ones always leave first. I saw that in the window of a shoe store. I never understood it, or what it had to do with shoes. We used to be star cops a few years ago. Tabloid press, radio interviews, and even a book series. I don't miss those days. Of course, Marty, my old partner, would disagree. He just loved the spotlight.
Celebrity cops from the dump. Chicken Police on track. Interesting.
M.B. Davis, the eternal king of jazz. The photo is from the days of jazz prohibition. I only heard the old man live one time, but I'll never forget that night. And not only because I woke up at the harbor without my gun, my badge, and my pants. The Wild Gentlemen. Those guys rebuilt the city after the Great Fire of 867. My heroes when I was a little chick. I'm starting to think they should have left Clawville as it was, burned to the ground.
I
don't even know where the key is. Whatever's inside is gonna stay there forever.
Seen everything. Let's talk to her.
Who is this dame, anyway? And what the cluck is she doing in my apartment on New Year's Eve?
Let me introduce myself. My name is Deborah, Miss Deborah Ibanez.
You're mistaken, ma'am.
Oh, really? Please enlighten me, Mr. Featherland.
I'm not a private eye. I'd recommend Mr. Philmar Lowe instead of me. He's a nice guy.
Believe me, Mr. Featherland, it's not an accident I came to you.
Look, miss, I work for the police, and I'm currently on leave. I couldn't accept private commissions even if I wanted to. Not even from a classy dame like you.
Am I that easy to read?
That's my job. But tell me, since you've invited yourself in, would you like a drink?
I don't usually drink.
Well, I've got to have one. And it'd be rude of me to drink alone. So, maybe some sherry?
If you insist. But bourbon, please.
Thank the wild ones. That's all I have.
What a coincidence.
So come on, spill it from the beginning.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to get a little cutscene there. Okay, so let's see. We got some new codex entries here. So people. So Deborah, Ibanez, Impala, female, pretty and fragile. Nothing too special. Okay. Can I click on this? Okay. She runs errands for her employer, a sophisticated lady, but I don't think she's from a particularly wealthy or influential family. Hotel Atlas. This used to be a nice place. Now we're competing on Now we're competing who gets swallowed by decay first. The hotel's winning, but honestly, I'm not that far behind. And then we have some codex entries here. Yeah, we'll read one of them. I think we will read the codex entries, but let's just start with one for right now. The Chicken Police is a famous detective duo. Santino, Sonny Featherland, and Marty McChicken gained fame through a case that the press called the Bloody New Year's Eve. They flew high for almost 10 years when a fateful brawl put an end to their legend. There is a series of novels about them by Meredith H. Marble. They had published 10 books over the course of 7 years before the series faded out of public interest, as did the Chicken Police itself. Interesting. Got little stats here. Guess we talked to her again.
That's better. Now, if I understand correctly, your mistress is receiving threats. What kind of threats exactly?
It's a very strange matter. First, there were letters. Then it came printed on a wine bottle's label, sent as a gift. Then carved into a brick, thrown through the window. And finally, they painted it on the wall of the house in giant red letters.
I think it's time to dig a little deeper. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some routine questions.
Please, that's why I'm here.
We have questioning now, and we got another entry here. Okay, so clues. The victim, a lady, is the target of some strange threats. All of them are written. Okay. Question here. Focus on what you know about the suspect. Is he or she suspicious? Concentrate on that.
I must be cautious and smart. This dame seems shy, which I can use to my advantage. But I must be careful about what I say to her, or I could scare her off. Let's start gently, and when the time comes, we can go in hard. Who exactly are you, ma'am?
I'm not somebody important, Mr. Featherland.
You're important enough to deal with such a delicate matter, right?
I carry out the wishes of my employer, nothing more. This means simple paperwork, most of the time.
You've been thrown into deep water, sweetheart. Tell me, can you even swim?
Believe me, this is just as unpleasant for me as it is for you, if not even more.
You're not very confident. Are you sure you're all right? Or tell me, which part of the city do you live in? Talavera Hills, Flowerville, maybe? I don't know if that's even relevant. So I'm gonna go with the first one.
You're not very confident. Are you sure you're all right?
Yes. Excuse me. I'm just a bit nervous. I've never done anything like this before.
Breaking into the apartments of strangers isn't that big a deal. Some people do it as a hobby.
Please don't make fun of me, Mr. Featherland. This is hard for me as it is.
You're right. Sorry.
Did you come alone, all by yourself? Tell me, what's your sign? Seriously? I'm gonna go with the first one.
Did you come alone? All by yourself?
I took the subway, then the tram, and then I walked. It wasn't easy to find this place. And to be honest, I had to be discreet.
Yeah, Well, I think I'm starting to get the picture.
This is quite unpleasant for me.
Why did you come to visit me? Why not your employer herself? That one's a good one. Do you even know what you want? Were you born and raised in Clawville? I guess 1 or 3, but I'm gonna go with 1.
Why did you come to visit me? Why not your employer herself?
My employer is Miss Natasha Katsenko. She hasn't been leaving her home lately, only if she really has to.
How so?
Miss Natasha is afraid. She's scared because of those unwanted messages, and everyone knows who she is.
So she's that kind of woman.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you do, Deborah. Thank you, by the way. We're finally getting somewhere. We avoided the point long enough. Deborah's hiding something, no question. Let's focus on that.
I'm sure it's not intentional, but are you toying with me? I kind of feel like she is. I mean, like, she hasn't given me a straight answer. I mean, I don't know if these questions are all that good, but she hasn't given me a straight answer yet, so... Okay, what else we got? What do you want from me? What exactly do you expect by coming here to meet me? How did you get this address? I do like this one. What exactly did you expect by coming here to meet me? But I also really like this one because, I mean, she's kind of irritating me a little bit. Just tell me what you need.
I'm sure it's not intentional, but are you toying with me?
I'm not sure I understand you, Mr. Featherland.
Cut the crap, Deborah. You're a pretty smart girl, and you can't hide that no matter how hard you try. But ever since we've been talking, I couldn't force one single straight answer out of you. I'm starting to think I'm terrible at what I do.
I'm sorry, Mr. Featherland, you're right. I'll try to be more straightforward next time.
I appreciate that, ma'am.
Okay. Are you in some sort of a jam? This is just too risky for me. I can't take the case. Do you think you're cut out for this kind of work, or let's pretend you never found me here? Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with the first
Are you
one.
in some sort of jam?
Nothing of the sort. There are simply things better left unsaid.
Then you're wasting my time.
I trust your instincts. You'll manage it.
Yeah, and I have no other choice, right?
To be honest, no, Mr. Featherland. Not really.
Have you ever felt truly vulnerable? No. Don't you think this whole thing is...
Don't you think this whole thing is a little suspicious?
Look, Santino, I'll explain everything.
I have no doubt about that. You look just the type, sweetheart. No offense.
I'll take that as a compliment. Or maybe I'll act like I haven't heard it.
You see, we're starting to understand each other.
If you won't come clean, what's the point of all of this? Tell me, Deborah, why should I believe you at all? Well, she hasn't really told us anything to believe or not to believe. Maybe that her employer is Natasha. But I do like it better than the first question.
Tell me, Deborah, why should I believe you at all?
Because my mistress trusts you.
Should that be enough?
If you really like what she thinks you are, then yes.
Damn, what can I say to that?
Look, I didn't mean to back you up against the wall.
You have a way with words, sweetheart. Did you ever want to be a cop?
No, not for the world.
Heh, smart answer.
Be honest and tell me what you're afraid of.
Be honest and tell me what you're so afraid of.
You know, Mr. Featherland, my mistress's partner is Hobart Wessler. Or as most people know him,
Ibn Wessler, the Kingpin.
Okay, so that makes a little more sense now.
exactly.
Feathery gods, help me.
So you get it now. The secrecy.
To put it mildly, I think I understand it all. Wessler. This little piece of the puzzle changes everything.
we get ranked. Oh, 5 stars. 90% focus accuracy. Okay, what does it say? Deborah Ibanez, final thoughts. The legendary Chicken Police back in action. Still a bit weary, but untarnished. Good work. Oh. The employer, Natasha's current significant other, is the infamous gangster Ibn Wessler. All right, so we got some more codexes. I'll just read it. Okay. The mysterious messenger, Miss Deborah Ibanez's employer, is a certain Miss Natasha Katsenko. The employer, Natasha's current significant other, is the famous gangster, Ibn Wessler. Okay. Read a little bit. Oh, so we have some more on Deborah. Let's see. She's afraid and she's secretive, or she's just secretive and an outstanding actress. In any case, not everything she told me is true. I'm pretty sure about that. Her employer currently bolsters the ranks of Ibn Wessler, to put it mildly. This explains the cloud of fear surrounding Miss Ibanez. And then we have Natasha Katsenko. She's a cat, female. She has remarkably green eyes and she is definitely in trouble. So am I. Personal info. She is the employer of Miss Deborah Ibanez. Allegedly, she's receiving serious threats. Currently the girlfriend of the notorious gangster Ibn Wessler. This explains a lot of things, mainly the excessive secrecy. Okay. Back to people and read about him. Hobart Ibn Wessler. He's a rat, male, good looking, charismatic, and a clucking gangster. Clucking went on. All right, personal info. One of the most well-known gangsters of Clawville, real estate mogul, bank director, museum owner, distiller, smuggler, and information broker. He's busy. And that's only the half of what I've heard about him. He has his dirty little paws everywhere in the city's underworld. Okay. More places. Let's read another codex. City of Clawville. Clawville's been an independent city-state for more than 900 years. During the city's foundation, four nations had joined forces, represented by the 4 animal figures and the 4 hands of the crest of Clawville. In reality, the tribal alliance of the reptiles and the great insect clans had also played an essential part in the city's founding, but they never got to be represented on the crest. This gave birth to a political and cultural antagonism between the species. Clawville preserved its political autonomy and the dream that it's the only state in the wilderness where predator and prey of any race can live in peace. Hence the name, the City of 1,000 Colors. Okay. So let's talk to her again.
Why don't you take it to the police? Just go there and file a report. Photos, flashing lights, fingerprints, you know the drill. The evidence is very clear. Even a moderately talented detective could easily wrap this case up. Or just try the phone. 555-111.
Please, take a look at this.
Well, okay. Let's see.
Item. Czar Club. I know Molly very well. Please note this when deciding whether or not to accept my assignment. Miss Ibanez is a trusted friend. Treat her as a gentleman. Can we read the front
I
of it?
know Molly very well. Please note this when deciding whether or not to accept my assignment. Miss Ibanez is a trusted friend. Treat her as gentleman. N.
Okay, so I'm assuming that's Natasha. All right.
I felt like I'd been hit on the back of my head with a blackjack. Reality tilted. Molly. Good gods. What was her name doing there?
Oh, Molly.
I glanced at the opposite wall with the well-worn picture frames. Like an eternally dark hole in the wall. A missing piece. She was wearing a light silk dress and singing a lullaby. The waves caressing her beautiful long legs. Why Molly? Why now?
Mr. Featherland?
His ex-wife, okay.
Santino, are you all right?
What the hell is this supposed to mean?
I don't know anything, Mr. Santino. My mistress told me to give this to you. She said you'd understand. Don't you?
Oh, of course I understand, Miss Ibanez. I get it very well. But this case is becoming more and more confusing. It's starting to look like blackmail.
Blackmail?
Don't play innocent with me.
But...
All right. When can I visit?
Visit? Me?
Not you. Miss Katsenko.
Oh, yes. You can find her at the Tsar Club.
Didn't you tell me she's not the social kind? That she's especially unsociable? Or does she only like loud and crowded clubs?
No, she's really not like that. But she owns the place.
Judging by the flyer, it must be a very busy club, especially on New Year's Eve, right?
I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding Miss Katsenko. But there's one small problem, Mr. Featherland.
Let me guess. Mr. Wessler better not know about my visit.
Exactly. How did you know?
20 years experience, ma'am. Oh, and please, call me Sonny.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Sonny.
I'll talk about the rest with Ms. Katsenko in person. A good friend of mine would be happy to take you home if you'd like.
I'd appreciate that, Sonny.
Okay, so we got some new information here. The Tsar Club. I'll find Natasha at the Tsar Club. Natasha must know my wife, Molly. Okay, so maybe not ex-wife. From somewhere, or perhaps she has very good informants. I must find out what the connection is. We got another person here. Louis C. Hayworth, Rabbit, male, an old friend of mine. He is stuttering heavily when he talks. Okay, personal information. Louis is the owner of the once reputable Atlas Hotel and a good friend of mine. At the moment, he's my landlord. It's only the two of us living in this unbelievably enormous hotel. He's crazy about detective stories, and he gladly helps me whenever I ask. Louis's number is 555932. Okay. Places. Okay, so we have the Tsar Club. One of the most famous nightclubs in the city. Owners of the juiciest booties and hardest fists frequent the place. And it's famous for not serving cops except if they're knee deep in the dirt. Okay, so the place does not like cops, or whoever owns the place doesn't like cops. All right, let's do our next codex. The Wild Ones. 3 gods are revered in most places across the wilderness. They're the great wild ones who make up the holy trinity of creation, destruction, and silence. Hariti, the goddess of creation, I'm gonna mess these names up. Pepti is the lord of destruction, and Nukfati is the genderless ghost of silence and nothingness, except keeping the balance between creation, destruction, and their never-ending conflict. Okay. All right. So, do we keep talking to her?
Thank you again, Mr. Sonny.
Don't mention it, Deborah. I had no other plans for today, except drink. But tell me, do you have a light?
I'm sorry, I don't smoke.
Thought so.
Okay, so maybe we're not supposed to talk to her. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, 5593, okay. Kind of expecting it to dial it for me. Hold on. 932, I think.
Hey, Louis. Am I bothering you?
No. Of course not, Sonny. Old friend, what's up?
could you come over? I've got a favor to ask if you're not busy.
For you, anything. Just a minute.
Lewis arrived a few minutes later. He lived in the rooms above, so it wasn't difficult getting here, not to mention that he's a rabbit. It was a quick hop. The Atlas Hotel was his inheritance. It was once a well-renowned place, but not anymore. The last economic crisis ruined it, and now, besides me, he was the only resident of this enormous place. The good old rabbit. I can always count on him, even on New Year's Eve. Thanks for being so quick, Lewis. Can you drive Miss Ibanez home? I have some things to take care of.
Of course, Sonny. You know, anything for you.
Thank you for being so considerate, Sonny. I appreciate it.
Don't mention it.
Goodbye, then.
So long, Deborah. Before I visit the club, I have to take a detour. I've got a feeling that this case isn't going to be a one-man job. And there's only one bird in this city I can trust. My ex-partner, Marty. He's going to be at the station. I can only hope he'll be willing to talk to me.
Okay, so we have a new function, and that is the map. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. We're gonna try to keep the episodes a little short, maybe around 25 minutes. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you shortly.